So let's just talk about some simple things, practical things that people can do that will actually help create this slight edge to work in a positive way.
Well, one thing that I do talk about with the clients in my practice is that there is the two main things that I do talk about. There's a big difference between eating and nourishment, and there's also a huge difference between drinking and hydration.
Yes.
They can be poles apart.
Yes.
Every time, what I always say to them, every time that somebody gets hungry, they have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And every time somebody gets thirsty, they have a choice.
Yes.
So when you're hungry, you can choose to stop that hunger with a bag of chips.
Yes.
Every single time you can do that, because it will stop your hunger.
Yeah.
But what will happen then is the body will process those chips the best way that it can do,
Yes.
then send signals saying, okay, so you've stopped my hunger, but you haven't provided me with any nutrient whatsoever.
Great.
Send more hunger signals down,
Yeah.
think, I'm hungry again, more chips, and it'll just go on and on and on. Or it's a bag of crisps, or it's a chocolate bar, or something unhealthy that doesn't provide the nutrients. So one of the first things that I do say is to choose good quality food to prevent your hunger or stop your hunger. And what you will find is that you will feel hungry less often.
Great.
Because the body's satisfied, it's nourished, it doesn't need any more input, in that 3 hour, 4 hour period.
Yes.
Because you've provided what it needs.
And that's nutrition.
That's nutrition.
Rather than
Eating.
Eating.
Yes.
That's a fantastic distinction,
Mm.
and I think it's a very powerful distinction. Once people get it, it's really meaningful.
Mm.
Just to add something to that, artificial sweeteners fall into this category, don't they? Because artificial sweeteners, and people think they're drinking diet sodas or diet whatevers, and it's doing them some good, but actually people that consume those things tend to be fatter than those who don't.
Mm.
Because what happens is that these artificial sweeteners sort of send a message to the brain that we've received nutrients in the digestive tract, but actually there's no value in those nutrients, and therefore it's almost the realisation that I've been swindled.
Mm.
So there's a desire to consume more. With sweeteners, it's all about sugar, and so this sort of perpetuates this sweet tooth phenomena, which
Yes.
is so challenging for people. And it's another example of exactly what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
The difference between nutrition and eating.
And that's when people, some people, we were talking earlier about saying that everybody thinks they're a nutritionist and everybody thinks that they know how to do things nutritionally. But with the sugar, it's a great example of people taking things to a total extreme, because the body needs sugar.
Yes.
Which is why when you have sweeteners, it thinks, oh right, okay, fair enough, but I need sugar, but it's getting sugar in the system in the right way.
Absolutely.
That it's important, and
Yes.
not thinking, oh, I haven't had any sugar today, so a can of Coke before I go to bed will do it, and
Yes.
give me my sugar allowance, or
Yes.
however you want to phrase it.
And the rest.
But it's doing, and the rest. But it's doing it in the right way.
Yes.
So the body doesn't need to do these things, and it's painfully simple.
Great.
It really
I'll just say we're actually drinking herbal teas here.
Yeah,
so we're
not-
hydrating. we're not drinking fully leaded coffee.
Yeah, I've put 6 sugars in.
But and let's talk about another thing while we're on the subject. You touched on it, hydration.
Yes.
So it's a key principle in my whole approach is that unless you hydrate properly, you can't expect to be healthy.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, it comes back to the difference between drinking and hydration.
Yes.
Because every time you're thirsty, a pint of beer will probably quench that thirst for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
But it will then lead to further dehydration further down the road.
Absolutely.
So there's and you can also, although that is an extreme example, but you can also bring it further up the spectrum in different types of waters, where you can have a very poor quality tap water
Yes.
that won't hydrate you, but it will quench your thirst for that short period of time.
Yeah.
One of my clients actually came to me and said that she has a very, very dry mouth, but
Yeah.
she was very, very confused because she drinks a lot of water
Right.
all the way through the day. And I said, well, have a look at what water you're drinking. Is it tap water? And it found out that it was tap water that she
Yeah.
was drinking. And she actually went on to try coconut water
Right.
for a while. which stopped what was happening. I said, well, there you go, because you were drinking water,
Yes.
but the body was going, okay, so you've given me water, but there's nothing in it, so I'm just going to keep sending thirst signals down to you until you give me water that contains minerals, or is a right pH,
Yes.
or is a water that I can use and I can utilise. So again, that's two main things that I do try to get across to people.
And I talk about this a lot in my approach. Is if you can possibly drink slightly alkaline water, and some of the bottled waters like Evian are slightly more alkaline than some of the others, then again you're providing the right sort of refreshment and the right sort of supply to manage the whole hydration process. But I think a lot of common ailments are complications of dehydration. Again, I mean, there's some fascinating work that's been done by Dr. Batman Helji, who he was actually a prisoner in Iran, I think it was, but he was working as a doctor in this prison, and the only thing that he could treat his fellow patients with was water. And there have been some amazing cures just using water, and I think a lot of people are on medications when actually hydration would solve it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we're talking 2 litres to 3 litres a day. Now that's quite hard to get down when you first start doing this, because many people aren't used to it, and it feels like you're drowning. Any more than that is not a good thing, because you do need a balance of salts in the system. But most people are not consuming enough water, so this really is a critical foundation, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
And the right sort of water, as you say.
Things that there's a lot of people in the health food shop that I'm associated with at the moment, who come in and ask me about how to increase energy levels. They feel that they can't get out of bed in the morning, or mid-afternoon, mid-morning, they're drowsy and they just want to go fall asleep.
Yes.
And they're looking for things like guarana and all these ginseng and all these supposedly energy promoting natural products. And 9 times out of 10, just by when you feel that, having a decent glass of water sorts it out, and your energy levels almost immediately go straight back up. And headaches are the same.
Absolutely.
9 times out of 10, it's dehydration.
Complications of dehydration, and many other ailments. And I think that this is so simple, but the pharmaceutical industry doesn't make any money selling us this information. So unfortunately, it's not one of the things that you'll see widely promoted, but it is easy to do.